Right, this is going to be a little hard and a little odd for me to do, considering it's so common, but I am going to do a trip report on, well, an experience report, should I say, on alcohol. Yeah, not sure how it's going. No, it's a commonly consumed drug or intoxicant. Not sure if it's a drug or a poison. Pretty sure it's still a drug, whether it's a poison or not, though. But yeah, I don't know what the fucking difference in the definition is. As far as I'm aware, basically everything but food that has an effect on your body is essentially a drug. Anyways, that's not what I'm talking about here. So yeah, I'll start by low dose experiences, and then I'll go to talk about high dose experiences. So yeah, one thing I've noticed with alcohol at both low and high doses is whether it tastes any good or not differs with essentially what alcohol you buy. And I'm talking in terms of ethanol, regular alcohol, not in terms of methanol, butanol, or 2M, 2B, or anything like that. So yeah, so I found straight vodka and straight whiskey can be quite caustic and tough on the throat and yeah, tough on the stomach. There have been times where I've taken, say, 5 to 10 shots of vodka and just gone straight to the toilet, puked a very tiny amount out, sat in the toilet for a few minutes and kind of come out like, shit, that was a fair bit of vodka. I mean, people look and they try and act tough, but there's only a few people who could just drink straight drinks and just drink and drink and drink them rather than, drink a couple of shots, wait a bit, drink a couple more shots. It's not easy to do. And if you don't have a full stomach, I personally think it's worse. But yeah, there's a lot of variation between the taste of alcohol. For example, even just between the taste of red and white wines, like you get some cheap red wines that are just terrible, taste like vinegar, taste acidic. You get some cheap wines that are pretty nice. You get some expensive wines that are just horrible. Some of them have little body to them. Some of them have rich flavour but still have that vinegary taste. Some of them you can taste the tannins on, and all the different herbs and the grapes and just everything about wines. And then you can taste the differences between just red and white. Never mind differences between different reds and different whites, but between red and white. And then yeah, you get beers and they're a lot harsher. You've got that thickness to them. Well, they're not as harsh as say vodka. They're more tough drinks, I'd say. Dry drinks. There's more to them when you drink them, but you can tell they're not as strong. But they've got, I don't know. It feels like you're drinking more. Like there's more calories in them, or there's more of something in them, essentially. So yeah, depending on what you drink, will yeah, will obviously vary the way it tastes to you and your experience of drinking. I find when you're drinking for the first time, basically all alcohol tastes absolutely fucking terrible. Like I remember the first time drinking and yeah, it just tasted fucking awful. And it was really low percentage beer that was quite nice, or like would be if I'd have, drunk more often. So yeah, it's a pretty odd one is alcohol. Obviously, variety of flavors and variety of different brands and concentrations. And as I say, when you first start drinking, everything tastes like poison. Similar to when you first start smoking, it's just horrible. Anyways, so at lower levels of drinking, say just a couple of shots and a pint or 2 pints and 3 shots, sort of is lower level rather than intermediate level. I mean, I could say a bit more and still sort of class it as low level, but it would start getting onto intermediate level to start adding to that. But yeah, say you've had a couple of shots and a couple of pints, or 3 shots and 2 pints, or whatever low level doses of alcohol, or a third of a bottle of wine. Me generally, depending on what I drink. So if I'm not drinking wine, I generally feel like just a little bit uplifted, a little bit of a nice feeling in my belly. My body feels a lot warmer. I feel more sociable, more loose with myself, less worried about stuff like my brain sort of slows down. I feel just a bit more relaxed. It's like a social level. Drinking a small amount to me, I don't feel like it impairs me too much physically. It doesn't impair me too much mentally. It kind of makes things clearer for me, not in the way that stimulants do, but in a way of like emotionally, like my worries and such, rather than my assessment of things. For example, I'd have less focus on a smaller dose of beer than I would on a small dose of amphetamines, for example. However, I would feel, just more generally relaxed, like feel sort of the strain in my body kind of leaving me a little bit, feel very slightly wavy, just feel nicer, feel a little bit happier, more relaxed at lower levels. It's quite a nice experience. It's the experience where you'll start dancing, you'll feel a bit more sociable, jokes and laughs. Things aren't as bad for you. It's basically a de-stressor, a very small amount of depressant. It's not something that makes things too intense. Then at more, say, moderate levels, you start getting the feeling of intoxication. You can feel yourself starting to wobble. You can feel the relaxation sort of surpassing just the social boundary and becoming a kind of, I don't know, you kind of just lose your sense of restraint a little bit at this level. Quite a lot at the moderate level. So we'd say 5 shots and 3 pints, maybe 4 pints, or like 7 shots and 2 pints, something like that. Maybe a bit more actually. Depends how used to drinking you are, I guess. Because like some nights, 10 shots and a few pints is moderate or even low, and if you haven't drunk for a month, it's different. But anyways, yeah, at this level, I start feeling like the sway and the weirdness. I'm losing my social skills because I'm losing my motor functions and my fine skill, my skill and capacity to speak to people becomes slightly ruder, but this can still be a social level because you've broken a lot of social barriers here and a lot of like mental psychological barriers and worries and restraints. But this is where it starts pushing to you're becoming like an arsehole level, or you become so unrestrained that you just don't think about what you're saying. What you're saying might upset people inadvertently or just be inappropriate because you're not really thinking about the context of what you're saying. From my experience, you get a bit slower. You're way more confident because your restraint's gone. So you'll dance like hell, but you'll be swaying as you're dancing. You'll be moving and sort of tripping up a little bit. That's a moderate dose. And then on a much heavier dose, you start to get like real severe loss of motor function. Everything becomes really, really, really fucking wavy. Like you're falling over all the time, and it's fucking funny, man, because you're pissed as fuck. Like you're not thinking, "Oh, I'm falling over." Oh dear, you're like, "Whoa, boom, woof, get straight up, whoa, boom, hit the floor, get up." Complete physical relaxation, not complete sedation, partial sedation, definitely. Physically, a lot more relaxed is your body, I would say. Mentally, your restraint has gone, but mentally, you're just so incapacitated to remember stuff and process stuff as well that, yeah, whilst mentally all your restraint's gone, you can't communicate properly. You just falling over and saying words and just random syllables that don't really make any fucking sense. You'll make an ass of yourself at this level, pretty much anywhere, but depending on who you're with, it can be funny and it can be fun. You will get a pretty bad hangover in a lot of cases when you really start to get to this level and blacking out. You can get pretty irritable at this stage because your emotions are going on overshot and your restraint's gone. You become quite a bastard, really. But no, I find it quite fun. I enjoy the blacking out. I enjoy the falling over and struggling to get up and the legs spinning everywhere. So yeah, overall, alcohol's better than average. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. Moderation, I'd say, definitely. Just because tolerance picks up so quickly, and it obviously it's hard to realize when you're completely totaled. Once you're at a moderate level, you realize, whoa, it's time to do one or the other. But once you get just a bit over that moderate level, that's it. Your self control's just gone. So yeah, you got to be careful with alcohol. For me personally, I think with drinking, like, personally, I'd like to drink a light amount, maybe every few weeks or so, and maybe drink a heavy or moderate amount, maybe once or twice a year, would satisfy me. Only thing is, as well, something else I wouldn't want to do is drink for many days on end, because I find after drinking for about a week or two on end, you do start getting withdrawals and you start feeling cranky and tired and fucking weird after you've gone a week or so drinking and you've stopped drinking. Get little shakes, not hard, like, not full alcoholic shakes like that, but you can see yourself moving just a little bit. It's strange, it's strange. Kind of feel, as I say, just fucking cranky, a bit out of it, a bit away, a bit like everything's a bit too overbearing. So, yeah, going on benders for too long with alcohol, I think is not the greatest idea. It's not a great idea to get absolutely wasted every day, for me personally. But I enjoy drinking, a small amount sociably every now and then. And I don't feel so bad about drinking a moderate or heavy amount of alcohol once or twice a year. You just got to watch your alcohol intake and make sure you don't form a habit. Okay, that was my experience to report on Les Alcoholes. Thank you for listening.